Hello and welcome you all to the Smt.R.S.Kalaria YouTube channel. I am Chudasama Priyanka will be enlightening you with the science subject of NCERT Standard 8. In last session we had chapter number 1, that was crop production and management, and today we will have chapter number 2, that is microorganisms, friend and foe. Now what does this microorganism mean? Micro itself says I am minute or so small, and organism we know that it is living beings are called organisms. Now the living beings which are very small in size are called microorganisms, which we cannot see without anything aided to our eyes, that is unaided eyes we cannot see them, that is called microorganisms. Now on the screen you would be able to see some of the photographs. In this you are able to see plants, animals, birds. Now these things you can see very nicely without aiding something to your eyes, means you are able to see them very nicely. But if I will tell you that surrounding you there are so many minute organisms, can you see them? You will answer me, of course not. So for that purpose we need to add something to our eyes, that is instruments to our eyes, so that we can see these minute things very nicely. Let me give you an example. If you have kept a bread in the monsoon season in an open position, after some time you will find some greyish and white patches on that. Now if you will see these white patches under the microscope or under the magnifying glass, you will see that they are seems to be never like to have. Okay, so these are the things which we cannot see in our unaided eyes, but if we are adding something to our eyes, that is some instrument to our eyes, we will able to see them very nicely. Now let us go with an activity. We have an activity where it is said that we have to gather pond water which is available in the ponds. Just take the sample of it and under the microscope you will find that. Now you will be seeing a video where you can see these microorganisms moving from one place to another and how they are active in the water. Now see this video. Something more about these microorganisms. Now how to classify these microorganisms? Let us see the classification of microorganisms. We have 4 types of the microorganisms available, that is bacteria which will be causing typhoid and tuberculosis. We have fungi, as we have talked about this earlier also. We have protozoa that will be causing dysentery and malaria, and the last one we have is the algae. Now algae, you know that when it is a wet environment, it will start growing beside the wall or near the area where it is too much of the humidity present nearby them. So these are the 4 types of the microorganisms that we can classify them. Now you will be having a question in your mind, then what is this virus about? What this virus will be? So having the answer to solutions to your questions, virus is also one of the type of the microorganisms, but it could not be classified in the portions where we have written these portions. Why? Because microorganisms is something different from all these 4 types. Now why it is different? It will be requiring a host to develop, as we know that the government has said that we will be taking care about ourselves, how we have to just unlock our, we have to just put down the mask on our face, we have to wear the gloves in our hands, we have to make a face shield so that something does not enter in our body. Now how they will be entering our body? They will be inhaled by our nose, mouth, ears and eyes. They can be entering in our body because they are so minute and they just need the host only to develop. Otherwise there are so many viruses flowing in our air surrounding to our places, but as soon as they will get the host, they will start developing, and as soon as they will start developing, they will be giving us the symptom is, first of all they will be giving us the cold, cough, and then we will be slowly will be getting the fever also. These are the symptoms which tells us that virus has entered in our body, because virus only grows after the host is there or host is present with the virus. They will be developing faster and sooner. So government has told us that we need to secure ourselves by the wearing of the mask so that none of the viruses will be entering our body. Now let us see what are the causes by the viruses. Viruses can cause us the cold, influenza, coughs, polio and chickenpox. These are the minor diseases that can be caused by the viruses. So let us see further what are or where are the things, possibilities where the microorganisms are living. Now this is a big question. If we know that these microorganisms are causing us so many diseases and they cannot be seen by our unaided eyes, then where we can find them, because we have to be secured from them. So we need to find where these things are present. So let us find out that these are very minute, as we know that. So they are present everywhere and anywhere. In the surroundings of the earth, we can find these microorganisms everywhere. It is being said that they are so single celled also and they are multicellular also. Now single cell cannot be seen, even multicellular can also not be seen, but they are present everywhere. We can have the range from, it can be ranging from the ice cold. Now you see that ice cold environment means it is minus in degrees, but still they can survive in that environment. It starts from the ice cold climate to the hot springs. Now hot springs will be having lot of temperature in that, but still they can survive. So what is their development and how they can survive? Their survivability is too big, so we can say that they are surviving everywhere. Now and deserts and to the marshy lands. Now desert where human being cannot survive properly because water scarcity is there, but microorganisms can live very nicely. In the same manner, marshy lands where plants could not survive because they will not get the roots penetrating deep into the soil because it is too marshy, but still microorganisms can live there very nicely. So it is said that they will be living everywhere and anywhere in the earth wherever you go. So we need to take care of ourselves. Let's go to the next topic we have. That let us see the first portion, means the friends. Now every coin have two sides, as we know very well. Now if we are talking about the friendship with the microorganisms, they are used to have so many things which we love to eat from them. For example, we have the curd, the bread and idli and whatever the things which are after fermentation we use them to eat. Curd, everybody love to eat them. Cakes, everybody have to take them. Biscuits and all the things which are available in the dairies, we love to eat them. Why? Because they are fermented. They are the microorganisms who are doing these things for us. So these are the friends for us because they are making nice food for us. Now they are even useful for the soil fertility. We have studied in the chapter number 1, that is crop production, where how the microorganisms are useful for us for the production of the nice product in the cropping, because microorganisms, when they are present in the soil, they will be helpful for the fertility of the crop. Likewise we have the other portions also where making of the curd and the bread. Now in curd, what will happen? You have seen your mother making curd. How the mother makes the curd at the home? Every night when mother is boiling the milk a little bit, and she will add a small spoon, only a half spoon of the curd in that milk, and after that in the morning when you will wake up, you will find that the whole milk has converted to the curd. Now this is what the bacteria are. Yes, you will surprisingly know that it is the bacteria which are present in the curd. Now which of the bacteria are they? They are the lactobacillus bacteria. Mama has added just the bacteria, a spoon of the bacteria in the milk. Whole night they have started developing, and after development in the early morning you will find them the whole of the container filled with the lactobacillus bacteria. So here they are helpful to us in making the curd and even the bread. Now what is this bread and how it is being made? For that we need to understand the process of fermentation. Now what is this fermentation process? There is an experiment where we have to take the flour, sugar, hot water and little bit of the yeast. Add all these things simultaneously with each other. You will find that after some time you will find the dough which is made up of the flour will be swelling a little bit, and it will be having a bad smell coming from that. Now this bad smell is actually the smell of the alcohol, which we will not like to have or inhale it. Now this is what the fermentation process is. The fermentation thus says that when the breakdown of the sugar is going on with the help of the yeast, it will be known as fermentation. Now these are the fermentation that results in the bread, and you can have the pav, puff, all these bakery items which you eat will be resulting due to the fermentations only. Means we are eating lot of yeast in our body because we are eating the dairy items, we are eating the bakery items which will be having a result from the fermentation only. The next question we have is the commercial use of the microorganisms. As we know that alcohol is also production because of the fermentation process. Now for that we need the whole of the commercial use. Now these things where the alcohols are being prepared, they will be using the microorganisms in a wide amount so that they can prepare it very nicely. There will be no chances that the alcohol cannot be prepared because they will be keeping the things in such a way that it is prepared at the commercial way, means such a huge amount they can prepare it. Now let us see what are these things. The first time Louis Pasteur has found out this fermentation process in the year 1857. And then we go further with this as the commercial use also and for the other uses also. Now we have the medical use of the microorganisms. So let us see now the medical use of these microorganisms. Yes, until this we have seen the commercial use. Let us see the medical use. Now whenever you fall ill, what will you do? You will go to the doctors, of course, okay, and the doctors will be giving you some of the medicines. Now sometimes you feel so much of the pain, and that time the doctors will prescribe you with the penicillin. Now what are these things? Now penicillin is what? It is an antibiotic. Now what are these antibiotics? The medicines which kill or stop the growth of the disease causing microorganisms are called the antibiotics. Now antibiotics are so many in the market because they are useful for different diseases to stop them or to kill these bacteria of the microorganisms of the diseases. Now we have the examples of the antibiotics as streptomycin, tetracycline or anti-erythromycin. Now these are the commonly used medicines which we are having in the market, or the doctors also prescribe it maximum. Now the next portion, now what are, so let us see how the first time the penicillin was being discovered. It was the Alexander Fleming in the year 1929 who discovered this penicillin. Now how he has made this? He did not made it by sudden experiment, it came into existence. Now let us see what was that sudden experiment. He was working with the culture of the bacteria. He just kept that in a plate. Then after some time he observed that the bacteria had stopped developing because there was another bacteria who were making them stop the development of the first bacteria. Now what happened? They found the spores of the little green molded found on that, which was stopping the bacteria to develop or to have the growth. Now this was the penicillin which was found by the Alexander Fleming first time. He found that if these bacteria will be stopped developing or cannot have more of the development now because of these other bacteria, now these bacteria seems to be good one. They will protect us from the disease causing bacteria. So it was named with the penicillin the first time it was being discovered. Now we have some of these penicillins also being mixed with the feed of the livestock and even in the poultry farms to find out whether they are infected, the chickens or the hens, are they infected with the bacteria or not. So there also we use it very often. Now if we are talking about the antibiotics, usually people have the habit of this antibiotics when they become an aged person, because they know that for this disease I have to take antibiotic, for this another disease again I have to take another antibiotic. So they become habitual with this antibiotics, but actually when you are inhaling any of the antibiotic, it does harm our body. They will not be securing our body for a long time duration. They will be giving us harm a lot. Now what is the harm that is going on? Okay, for example, we have got cold and if we will inhale one of the medicine, but second time when we will get the cold, we will be inhaling the same medicine, it will not react on our body. It will not be having any effect of that medicine on our body. So we have to go for the more of the dosage of the same medicine. So we will be preferring more dosage, and next time when we will get the cold, again more of the dose we have to inhale. Now this is what happening to our body. Now if we know that the medicines are inhaled in our body, it is not good for our body because kidneys will be damaged for that. Now for this purpose we need to have some precautions while taking the antibiotics. Now there are some of the points for that. Antibiotics should not be taken without prescription of the doctors, because if they prescribe us, they know our body, what is there going on in our body structure, what will be helpful for our body, what will be harming our body. So they will be prescribing us the one which is good for our health. So just take the prescribed medicines only, not to go in the medical store and find out the medicine which is best for us and inhale that. Never to do that. So prescribed medicines are preferred first. Then second one is never to take anybody's medicine. Don't inhale anybody's medicines which are available with them. We have fever, okay, take somebody's medicine and eat them and be good. No, not to do like that. Now next things we have to take is on and often when you feel something bad in your body and you suddenly take the medicine is not also good, because this is also going to harm ourselves. Now these are the few of the points which we have to take in consideration when we are inhaling the antibiotics in our body. Now let's have the second usage of the microorganisms for us. We have the vaccines. Yes, you must have heard this name vaccines in our life so many times. The day when you were born, that time also you have taken one of the vaccine, and after that you have lot of listed things in your file that will be naming you the lot of vaccines which you have inhaled by the way of the injections or by the way of some of the drops in your mouth. So this is how the vaccines are going in our body. Now what are these vaccines? Why we need to take these vaccines? What is the requirement to have the vaccines in every person when they are born? So from the day one when you are born, you will be needed to have these vaccines. Now what these vaccines are doing? Vaccines are the dead microbes or microorganisms which will be inhaled or been given to our body. Now these bacteria or the microorganisms which are given in our vaccines will be activated when the particular disease will enter our body. Let us take an example for this to understand very nicely. For example, we have taken the vaccine for the polio. That is the 2 drops Amitabh Bachchan is giving the ads in that, you know that. So that 2 drops of the polio droplets when we have taken, they are the vaccine, they are the dead bacteria which have entered our body. Now if the polio microorganisms are going and coming and sitting on my body and will be taken and inhaled by my body, now what will happen? They will try to develop themselves, they will try to multiply themselves in my body and will act on my body. But I have already taken the vaccine for the polio. So what will happen? These vaccines which are present in my body will start producing antibodies in my body. Now antibodies will be making them harm or making them dead the polio disease which have entered from outside. Means they will not allow the foreign bodies to stay in my body. They will start fighting with that. Now if once they have got caught and they became dead, now polio is no more present in my body, but second time also it could come and enter my body. But there is a good thing present for these vaccines, means they remember that again if the same thing will enter our body, they will be fighting again. For the same purpose they will be fighting. Second time if the polio disease will enter in my body, these antibodies will be again produced and will be again fighting these disease causing microbes. So this is what the benefit of the vaccines is. So means actually what the vaccines are? Vaccines are the dead microbes or microorganisms which are kept in our body to secure ourselves from the disease which are coming from the outside of the body. Means foreign microbes can be killed by them, because we produce antibodies in our body by the way of vaccines. So this is how the vaccines are helpful to us. Now the next thing that it comes to is Edward Jenner was the person who found out the vaccines first time for the smallpox. It was in the year 1798 that he found the vaccine for the smallpox. Now we have that in advertisement also in the televisions, you must have seen so many times that the vaccines are coming for this purpose and for that purpose. We need to take them up till the time duration when it is mentioned by our pediatricians. We should be going and visiting the hospitals and taking all the dosage of the vaccines, because they are good for our body until the daytime the day when you will be becoming old and the day when you will die. Until that time durations, they will be really securing us, they will be acting as a bodyguard for our body organs. So please take the vaccines, never to ignore them, whatever the conditions are. Now, a worldwide campaign was being going on. We know that there are two things which were present in our India, which were at a vital state, that were the polio and the smallpox. But now, because of the government, as they have done so many of the actions and activities for that, they have just make them eradicated from our India. Means smallpox is now no more available, and even polio is no more available in the new generations. Rarely it is seen in any of the persons, those who are born new. So this is what the action of the government is going on. So it is a good side for the microorganisms that vaccines are going in our body and protecting us for the lifetime duration. Now next topic that comes is the soil fertility. Now how they increase the soil fertility? Bacteria which are present everywhere. We know that microorganisms are present in every situations and every place. They are present even in the soil also. Now soil, we need to have the more amount or the increased amount in the nitrogen, because they are so many of the plants in our area. Means we have, suppose we have the groundnut which will be enriching in the nitrogen, but for that we need to have the bacteria which will be securing the nitrogen from the atmosphere also. So for that purpose they will be increasing the fertility of the crops. So for that reason we need the microorganisms to develop in the soil. They will be biologically nitrogen fixers in the crop or the roots of the noduled plants. That is, the rhizobium bacteria is there in the leguminous plant. Now leguminous plants means what? Pulses, groundnut, all these things are leguminous plants which will be having the nodules in the roots. Now these nodules will be because of the rhizobium bacteria, means they will be taking the nitrogen from the atmosphere. These are the bacteria, means microbes only. So they will be utilized for the purpose of growth of the fertility of the crops in the fields. Now next one we have is the cleaning the environment. Now we know that the cleaners of the environment are the eagle, ant, black ant, and after that if something is left over, what will happen? It will biodegrade by itself. So these decompositions which are being done by the nature is by the microorganisms only. Now what will happen in that? Let's take an activity for that. We will be have a small talk about this activity. We have to take two pots. In one of the pot, name them as A, and have some soil, black soil or alluvial soil in that. Similarly, we will have the pot B. In that also we have to fill the half pot with the soil or the alluvial soil, that we have the black soils. Now add in A pot some of the peels of the fruits and vegetables or the things which are coming from the we have the kitchen. Okay, so these things will be kept over there, and add again a layer of the black soil on that. Now in the second pot, that is B pot, we have to add the plastic things. For example, you can have the plastic bottles, you can have the caps of the bottles, you can utilize the polythene bags also, toys also which are broken and which are made up of the plastic. Keep them all this in the pot B. Now again cover this with the black soil. After 1 week, if you will go and find it there and you will dig the pit over there in the pots A and B, you will find there is something different in both of them. What? For your surprise, you will find that in pot A, you will find nothing which was you have entered in that. For example, you have entered the peel of the banana, but you will not find that. Why? Because it has converted into the manure, as we have talked in chapter number 1, if you remember that. These peels which are biodegradable things will be converting into the manure or the soil back. So it will not be found out as it is, as it was. But in the pot B, where we have kept the plastic things. Now we know that plastics cannot be degraded very easily. It cannot be decomposed into the soil again. It takes lots of years and years. So when you will dig the pit in the pot B, you will find that the things are as it is again. So this is how the actions of the microbes work. Now the microbes will be working in pot A very nicely, because we know that they are naturally present everywhere. So they will be biodegrading or decomposing the things which are present in the nature as it is. So whenever any animal that dies on the road or roadside, we will never find them again after few days. Why? Because they are being eaten by these microorganisms. They will convert these animals into in the layer of the soil. So these are the microorganisms who are acting as the cleaner of the environment. They will clean up the environment very nicely. Near the areas where the wastage is being dug, you will find that a pit is being made, and there you have to dug the wastage of materials. But after some time, when you will see and find out and go there, you will not find the same thing, or not even have the smell of the wastage materials, because microorganisms will be leaving no smell on that and will be eating away all these things to make them simple substances. From the we have the compounds which are made with the bad things, but they will be just dividing them and will be eating them away and make them simple compounds. So these are the things where the microorganisms are useful to us. Now as it is mentioned, they will decompose the dead organic waste. Now organic excuse me, organic we know the things which are available from the nature, that is called the organic. Now they will be just decomposing the organic waste into the simple substances, means making all the things which are available in the nature, if they are kept open, after some time durations you will not find these things, because they have already been decomposed because of these microorganisms. So this is the portion where they are friends for us.